Hello, everybody. My name is Tim, and this is Dungeons and Dragons, or rather, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons: The Pool of Radiance. Um, a game released in 1988, which I may have recently added to a list of top 10 games that influenced my childhood. Um, I'm not going to be long on here. It's just going to be a short game because it's available on GOG, and I just found out, and I thought, hey, this would be fun to relive a part of my youth in all its 8-bit graphical glory. So while I create a nice little party to adventure around in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, I'll leave you with history of the city of Flam, which is where the party would exist. A History of Flam and the Moon Sea Reaches, a discourse on this area and its problems by Jeff Grubb. To most inhabitants of the lands of the Inner Sea, the Moon Sea and its cities represent the border between civilization and barbarism. The Moon Sea sits like a great plug straddling the territory between the mountains of Vasa and the nomad steppes, protecting the southern territories from the incursions of savage northerners. To the south of the Moon Sea lie the civilized lands of Cormyr and Sempia. To the north lay hundreds of square miles of cold and unforgiving waste. Even when the southern kingdoms are themselves besieged by orcish hordes, dragons, and fell monsters, they take comfort in the fact that it's worse around the Moon Sea. The Moon Sea Reaches are defined by sagas as being those lands bordered on the Moon Sea and its major contributing rivers. These major rivers are the Tesh, flowing past the shadowed battlements of Zenthal Keep, the Wormflow, a cold stream flowing from the east, the Duanthampa, also called the Evanflow, beginning deep in the heart of the Elven Court and flowing north, and the Barren River, which flows out of the Dragonspine Mountains and into Flam. The River Liss carries the waters from the Moon Sea south to the Inner Sea. The Moon Sea itself is an odd combination of abyssal deep spots, ship-ripping shoals, and rich freshwater reefs. Despite this, travel across the Moon Sea is generally safer than making the journey on land, so that most of the major merchant activity is by water. This is not to say that the Moon Sea is without dangers. While monsters are more infrequent among the Moon Sea, those that exist are generally more powerful than their landed cousins. Regions of the Moon Sea are recorded as being haunted, and there have been numerous sightings of ghost ships. An ancient city of Flam. Flam was the first great city of the Moon Sea, reaching its peak some 1,000 years ago. In those days, the Moon Sea was better known as the Dragon Sea, named for the large, great numbers of weirds that inhabited the area and the regions to the north. The Barren River was then called Stogenau, a dwarvish word meaning trade route, for it was down this passage that the ore-laden barges floated, bound for the south. Early Flan was a trading outpost on the north shore of the Moon Sea, set up to facilitate trade between the elves of Mithranor, the most powerful elven capital of the time, and the tribes of Thar, Vasa, and the Ride, as well as the Dragonspine dwarves. Trade between the powerful elves, the wild humans, and the merchant dwarves was a great success for all sides. Soon, Flan was the most powerful city on the Moon Sea, outshining its only rival, the elven docks of Hillsfar on the south coast. This time, the elves planted the quivering forest north of the city. This copse was mildly enchanted, hastening the growing season to produce a great wood in the span of a human generation. Though the woods have been felled on a number of occasions, it has always returned to its original form, becoming a light wood within 2 years, a deep, shadow-filled forest by the end of a man's life. The elves, the legend says, first discovered the pool of Radiance. Its description has varied through the passage of the years. Many wise sages have declared it a myth and a con man's gambit. The location of the pool changes from tale to tale. Sometimes it's deep within the heart of an eternal wood, sometimes on an island circled by great worms, and sometimes in the heart of a huge solitary peak that rises above all others in the Dragonspine Mountains. It is said that the pool glows with its own energy. Those that approach it feel new power within their bones, while an unreal melody holds them in rapture. Legends say that the pool's power created the quivering forest and caused the Sorcerer's Isle to appear. The pool is said to bring great power to the worthy and death most horrible to the unworthy. Some tales say that the individual should drink it, bathe in it, or throw coins into it and wish. There are numerous folk tales of the wise fool stumbling upon the pool and gaining wondrous power or meeting a gory end. The abilities of the pool change according to the needs of the tale spinner. In any event, a trader or adventurer who encounters a sudden windfall or great witches is said to have visited the pool. Whether the pool is real or some literary invention, the first city of Flan, also called Archaic Flan, survived in peace for many generations of men. In the end, outside influences brought about its downfall. Settlers began to intrude from the lands of Cormyr and Sembia into the south of the Elven Court. At the same time, the beast men of Thar, which are today called ogres, began gathering to large hordes and ravaging the countryside. Flan built mighty walls and stood a decade of constant invasion. In the end, its fate was sealed by the elves withdrawing within the court, combined with the dwarves pulling back into the western reaches of the Dragonspine Mountains. With its trading lifeline cut, Flan fell into disrepair. The Black Horde finally demolished the city walls in the year of the Tusk, 112 Dale reckoning. They found little but an empty husk. The greatness that was ancient Flan had passed. Great Hammer and the first rebirth of Flan. Flan remained relatively uninhabited for the next 500 years. The city's position at the mouth of the Stojanal did make it a useful meeting place for traders. Twice during this period, a pirate community grew in the ruins of Flan. The first time they were burned out by a navy sailing from Mulmuster. The second time, a group known as the Red Horde, led by a red dragon of incredible age, leveled the community. Following this attack, buccaneers never regained their power in the Moon Sea, though some small bands still persist. With time, the civilizations of man moved further north. The greater beasts retreated, and many cities were founded on the shores of the Moon Sea. Yet the beasts did not retreat far. Dragons nested in the Dragonspine Mountains, ogres raided from the great grey land of Thar, horrible undead things lingered in the swamps and in the passes through the Vasa. Hillsfar retained its elven ties and flourished even as Flan's power was deteriorating, growing from a small town into a large, prosperous city. The foundations of Zenthal Keep and Mulmustar were laid while Flan lay in ruins. Small towns such as Melvaunt, Thentia, and Elmwood started during this period. The inland city of Ulash, situated atop a great mound that dominates the southern west corner of the lake, rose to the zenith of its power during this time. In 712 Dale Reckoning, year of the moon's tears, Milsor the Valjevo, founder of the Valjevo dynasty, journeyed to Flan to re-establish the city as a trading outpost. He was aided in this task by the wizard Rimon and the priestess Elonius of Tyr. Milsaur, Rimmon, and Elonius gathered together interested adventurers and cleansed the city of the evil orcs and goblins that had made it their lair. They cleared the banks of the Stojanau and drove the arch-lich Zanakar from the Sorcerer's Island in the center of Lake Kuto. In return for his efforts, Rimmon was given the Sorcerer's Island as his home. Elonius, in turn, was given a wide area in the recovered regions of Flan, the temple to Tyr, the god of justice. By 750 DR, the temple complex had been finished. In its day, it was said to be the largest temple of good in the entire north. The city had recovered, and large numbers of immigrants arrived. Some were natives of other Moonsea cities seeking to make or expand their fortunes in new lands. But others arrived as well, including men of the Dale lands and Sembians, as well as farmers and lumbermen intent on making the region their home. The newcomers built on the ruins of the old city, often not checking what lay beneath their foundations. Some curious souls reported great twisting passages leading far beneath the earth. Exploring such areas was first discouraged. It was later outlawed after a party of adventurers freed an extremely large beholder. The newcomers, led by Valjevo and his heirs, closed off the passages, choosing to ignore the past and seeking only the future for their city. Dalesmen spread up the Sojanau River, diverted the river's flow, and turned the rocky terrain to a rich landscape of fields and orchards. The reach of the farmlands extended from Lake Kuto to the city of Flan, the mouth of the river. Some say the land was so rich because of the proximity of the enchanted quivering forest. Others ascribe the bounty of the wizardries of Rimmon. Still others credit the series of dikes and leaves that the farmers, aided by magical spells, used to harness the river itself. Whatever the cause, the healthy forests of the Stojanau River Valley provided Flan with a solid trading base. For the next 200 years, Flan was the center of trade around the Moonsea. Its grains, fruits, and tubers filled the vaults from Mulmaster to Zenthal Keep. It appeared that civilization, after a false start, finally made a major foothold in the lands north of the Moonsea. Such was not to be the case. The forces of good and evil ebb and flow like the shores of the Moonsea itself. In the 195th year of Flan, 907 Dale reckoning, the Golden Age ended in rust. A plant rust, which affected most of the farmlands around Flan, destroyed harvests for the next 3 years. Suddenly, the Moonsea riches were in the grips of a powerful famine, relieved at a great cost with shipments from the south. There was a great suffering, and other cities, once so enamoured of Flan's gentle power, were resentful that it had failed. The native Flanners were resentful as well. Their once good rulers had fallen into sloth and ease in the centuries since the re-establishment of the city. The Valjevo blood was said to run thin in the princes and princesses of Flan. They reacted to the plague infesting the grain by first ignoring it, then setting up committees, and finally legislating it out of existence. Only when the magnitude of the problem became clear did they act. Even then they failed their people, overreacting to the point of placing a ban on all shipments out of the city, seeking to keep what supplies were left to the native population. The other cities, already angry with Flan for its rising prices in the face of the plague, rebelled against this new measure. Fleets from Mulmastar and Hillsfar began to raid cargoes destined for the city. Smugglers operated out of the Twilight March and Stormy Bay despite official attempts to enforce a ban on shipments. A large land force equipped with siege machinery set out from Zenthal Keep towards Flan. The force encamped at Stormy Bay while the ruling heads of Flan negotiated to spare the city. In the end, the Keeper force was sent back through a massive payment to their leaders. These leaders were the first appearance in Flan record of the Zentarim, which would increase in power over the next 300 years. During this activity, Rimmon, now old in the ways that only wizards can be old, disappeared from his rocky abode. What became of Rimmon is unknown. The rules of Flan had not sought his counsel for generation. Some say he became a lich himself, using the methods discovered by Zanakar. Others say he sacrificed himself in battle on a far distant plain in order to save the lands of Flan. Still others state that he had found the pool of Radiance and become a great and powerful being in some other part of the realms. Most likely, Rimmon merely fell prey to the effects of old age, as all mortals do. Whatever the cause, Rimmon was never seen again in the realms, and his citadel became a haunted, abandoned ruin within a decade. The famine of the red plants passed after 3 seasons, and an abundant harvest returned to Flan. The harvests were never to be as great as before, nor the fruit from the orchards as sweet. Whatever magic, true or imagined, that had re-established Flan had passed. The city became grey and ordinary, losing power to the keepers and the men of Mulmastar. The Golden Age was over. The Valjevo princes, their blood thin indeed, continued for another century. The century was filled with petty wars between the various city-states. No longer the leading city of the Moonsea, Flan battled with its rival more often. Piracy, or rather privateering, was now on the rise, a situation that continues to this day among the city-states. Flan was racked by interior torments as well. The people of the city were well aware of their loss of power and prestige. Farms north of Flan were now being abandoned. Dark shadows lurked between the massive trunks of the trees and the quivering forest. An attempt to clear a path through the growth in 1023 DR resulted in the death of the last surviving Great Prince of the Valjevo family. The death of the Great Prince resulted in a 3-year civil war within the city, as various factions supported different candidates to take the mantle of the Great Prince. All candidates' claims upon the royal blood were questionable, and every faction sought to control Flan's future through placing their choice on the throne. During this time, the great Temple of Tyr was looted and burned, leaving only a great blackened shell. Many of the leading merchant families fled to other climes. In the end, the last survivor was a young noble supported by a group of powerful merchants. They created the first Council of Flan to act as regents for the youth. The council spoiled the child, who grew into a spoiled man, who was unable and unwilling to take the reins of power. He died without issue 40 years later, and the council has ruled ever since. The Fall of Flan. The last 300 years of Flan have been a continual retreat from the greatness that once was. Smaller rural towns were abandoned in the face of increasing evil to the north. Sorcerer's Isle was said to be inhabited again by fell powers. The city fell back upon that which it did so well long ago, trading. It began to serve again as the middleman between new powerful northern tribes and the established nations of the south. For a short time, about 100 years ago, the awful tide of retreat seemed to be halted, and the city was on its way to becoming a prosperous trading town once more. Yet dark things continued to lurk on the borders of Flan. Sorcerer's Island was said to be inhabited by Yarash, an evil mage who was said to be seeking Rimmon's power. The Archlich's magic, the Pool of Radiance, are all 3. Greatly diminished dwarven nations of the Dragon Spine reported great hordes of orcs and ogres attacking their citadels, and their barge trade came to a complete halt. Small towns and hamlets were raided and burned with increasing regularity, sending refugees to Flan, seeking passage to safer lands. Then disaster struck. Raiders from the north, aided by dragons and other dangerous creatures, poured down out of the Northlands. The quivering forest was burned in a massive fire that dominated the sky for a month. Monstrous hordes containing every imaginable creature marched with horrifying precision towards the city. The council debated, argued, and debated again, while hordes drew nearer, much as the last Valjevo princes did in their long-ago folly. Finally, they chose to fight, but were overwhelmed by the forces of Orc and Dragon. Flan burned and fell to the forces of evil, who looted and pillaged that which remained. The last remnants of the council stood their ground, trying to evacuate as many citizens as possible. Of the council members, the last priest of Tyr, Ferran Martinez, held the last garrison, Sokol Keep, which stood at the mouth of the Barren River. It is said that Ferran placed a terrible curse upon the keep to prevent anyone from taking it. In the end, even the waters of the Stojanau River turned poisonous and murky, and the river took its present name, the Barren. The rich farmlands of the Stojanau River were laid waste and became known as the Scoured Lands. The re-emergence of Flan. That should have been the end of Flan's story, but it is not so. Men remember the tales of Valjevo, who brought the first city of Flan back from its ruins. Adventurers, smugglers, and small traders visited the region and brought back tales of Flan under control of its evil masters. Many of the buildings were burned, but many others were spared. The shell of Temple of Tyr had been rebuilt, dedicated to some darker, more evil god. Zentarim spies and agents of dark Vasan nobles met and planned in Flan, and the riches of ages still survived for those who sought to look. In time, more modest men returned to Flan to rebuild her. A stockaded community rose from among the rubble of the past glories. These men intended to engage in the same profession as those before them, for Flan still occupied a prime position for trading on the Moonsea. However, until the city was cleared, the Barren River made clean, and the competing city-states pacified, Flan was likely to stay in impoverished ruins. 2 years ago, in the year of the worm, 2 things happened that would mean a change to Flan's future. First was the flight of the dragons that surged through the northern regions of the lands of the Inner Sea. Due to a cause unknown, great worms came down from the far north, destroying all in their path. These are not rare, opportunistic dragons seeking alliance with humanoid tribes, but rather huge waves of angry, scaled monsters bringing destruction where they travel. Many of the Moonsea and Dale towns suffered great destruction in the battles that followed. Ulash was utterly ruined by the attack, and Hillsfar was greatly damaged. The most telling blow was delivered by the body of a great dragon that fell into the Hillsfar harbour, blocking the entrance for a month. Much of Flan was also smashed into smoking ruin by these beasts. Strangely, it worked in favour of those men who lived there. Most of the damage was taken in the already ruined section of the city, where various evil warlords vied for control and riches. The attack of the dragons broke their power, creating a vacuum in control of the city, and giving the men of Flan a chance to re-establish themselves and their homes. Yet this would not occur without leaders, and the reappearance of the Council of Flan was the second great thing to occur in the city. Descendants of the last council still survived all the turmoil that had occurred, and many families wished to return to the land. These leaders were no great mages or wondrous fighters, but traders, merchants, and clerics. Their leaders, who remain to this day, were the shrewd and powerful trader Ulrich Eberhand, the retired mercenary Captain Werner von Erschflingen, and the Bishop of Brachio of Tyr. They have been joined by their junior member, Porphyrius of the ancient house Cordona. Together, the council has proposed exactly that which Valjevo accomplished so long ago, clearing the city by means of recruited adventurers. The promise of great treasure and the myth of the pool of Radiance provided adventurers with an irresistible draw. The council published notices and paid travelling bands to make sure that the story of Flan's waiting riches was distributed all around the Moonsea and beyond. Greetings, courageous ones. I am Rolf, appointed by the council to introduce newcomers to the fair city of Flan. If you will accompany me, I will start the tour. You now face the entrance to the Temple of Tyr. There are 3 temples in Flan: Tyr's, Soon's, and Tempus. Tyr's is the largest and houses Bishop Brachio. If you will turn around now, you will see the entrance to the passenger dock we just departed. Few ships dare the perilous passage here, but the council is developing a plan to open up the sea lanes. Please follow me. Behind these doors are the special training schools where adventurers increase their skills. Now let us go to the city's most important building. We are just outside the city hall. Proclamations are posted on these walls. Inside, the city clerk awaits the council's commission. Commissions are the quickest way to fame and fortune. On your right is one of the entrances to the Soon's temple. As with all Flan's temples, various clerical services are offered inside. On your left is an entrance to the city park. Beyond this gate are the monster-ridden areas of the old city we are slowly preparing for settlement. The council offers a generous reward to those who clear areas of monsters. Our tour is ended. Again, let me urge you to apply to the city clerk for a commission. Goodbye, and good fortune. You are on your own now. Alright, I've given it a quick go, and I've gotten used to some of the controls around here, because it has been, like I say, a very long time since I played this. You can see my team here. I have them armoured out, I have them spelled up, and I am in a room. There isn't anything in this room as far as I'm aware. I can put search on. There you are, I am now searching. So if there's anything of interest, I'll see if I can find it. It does take 10 minutes to search a section as opposed to 1 minute to walk. And there, I've done a complete search and I found nothing. So I'm going to show you what combat was like back in '88. We'll just move through here. And I believe, oh, here we are. You are surprised by goblins. A battle begins. Right, I was about to say I'm going to go into the room above because there's a goblin fight in there, but there's one right here as well. Now, so this is Rena. Rena is, I believe, just a straight fighter. Now, I don't think I have anything I can use. Nope. And there is no magic. So I'm going to move and attack to the south and hopefully take out that goblin. Goblin guard down. Rimkin, he has his bow. Not a bow, he has a slingshot. So if I aim manual, I can see Goblin Leader or Goblin Guard. Goblin Guard hit points 4, armor class 6. Best chance of hitting a Goblin Guard and doing damage better than a Goblin Leader anyway. So let's target this one. Missed. Never mind. Maxomi, another fighter. Should go straight for. Go for the Goblin Leader ahead. Missed. Okay. Boris, go for the same one. Goblin Leader is down. Now next, because now you see, not everybody got a turn there because the goblins surprised me, and only certain people managed to actually fight back in the first round. So this is technically round 2. Now Rena can cast a spell. She's got some cure light wounds, which I'm going to cast on myself. In the meantime, Maxomi, try and take out the leader to the south. No. Boris, try and take out the leader. Actually, no, try and take out the goblin to the northwest. Goblin guard down. Giotto with flail. Also got cure light wounds because priest, so going to have to move down, across, and then attack. Missed. Now my spell is ready because it does take a little bit of time to cast spells. So Rena is going to cast cure light wounds on herself. So target herself. And people are starting getting hit, and it's hurting. So, Rimkin, aim with your sling. Manual. And aim for this goblin guard. Missed. Ah, now at last. Here we go. Sinrimi. You can cast Sleep, which is the most fantastic level 1 spell and Mage can get. So, manual target. Sleep, I believe, hits 9 squares. So it's the square you're on, or square you're targeting, plus every square around it. So I kind of want to hit it about here, because that's going to take out about 5 people. So hit them with Sleep. There we are, that's 5 goblins who are now out of the fight. Which means she can now get in with her glaive. Or would be able to anyway. Johto trying to take him out? Nope. Boris, I don't need to worry about the ones in front of me, so I can go south. Rena back up to full health. That goblin leader is taking an awful lot of attacks. Aim manual across and target him. Nice. Maxomi, you cannot do magic, but you are a little bit hurt. So everybody basically just pile on the goblin leader here, I think. Yep. Rena, cast Cure Light Wounds for me, Rena. And okay, so the casting time didn't quite get to someone else's turn. That's fine. Manual. Target Maxomi over here. Fully healed. Boris. Now, normally, if I moved away from the goblin who is to my northwest, he would get an attack of opportunity, which means he would hit me straight away, pretty much. However, he's asleep, so I should be able to just go straight south and beat on the leader. Or, you know, maybe not. Because this is all RNG. Aim manual. Target. Next aim is alright. See, this is the problem with people who've got, there we go, decent armor classes. And, you can see, helpless. Means I think if I hit them, they automatically die. I'm not sure. Yes, slain in one cruel blow. Sinrimi can move in. You don't normally do that with mages, because she's a fighter mage, she can get away with it. And now it's just finishing everybody off. You've got a lot, but better not, because you don't actually have a melee weapon. So there we go. And there we are. And I think that's it. So done guard. Done guard. Done guard. Continue the battle? No. Party has won. Each character receives 33 experience points. There is treasure to be had. Rimkin, I think you're my thief, aren't you? I think. Yeah, you're my thief. Items. What have we got? Short sword and studded leather armor. I think I took studded leather armor, but you can't use it for some reason. However, you can use a short sword, so I will take the short sword on you. Anything else? Not a lot else I can take on there. However, cleric, fighter mage, take a longbow and all the arrows available, because I can then use them against the enemy. We don't have a shield either, so you might as well take a shield. And I don't think you have a shield either, if I remember rightly. Take a shield. And Maxomi doesn't, but Maxomi's got slightly lower dexterity, which affects armor class. So In which case, Rimkin, just take everything you can because we're going to sell it. There you go. Going to say inventory overloaded soon. Overloaded, there we are. Johto, next up. Take everything possible. Overloaded, okay. Sinrini. Take. Gone. Rena. Take. Done. Now, in terms of money, they had a combined total of 240 silver pieces. Share that out amongst everyone. And there you go. That is how you do a fight. Now, as I say, some of the gear I've got, I can now use. So, Banner Mail and Flail, yes, has picked up a shield. You know, use a shield. Oh, it's saying, must be readied. Oh, of course, I'm hitting the wrong button. Ready rather than use. So, I now have a shield there. Means I'm class -1, which is good. Not good in the current rules, but it was good in 2nd edition rules. And items here. You've got a glaive, which is a two-handed weapon. But if I unread the glaive, ready the longbow, and I shall join all the arrows into one quiver. There we go. Ready them, and I can trade the clerical scroll with Johto. Overloaded. Can't do that. Of course. Can I trade it with Rena? Yes, I can. Fantastic. And scale mail isn't quite as good as banded mail, so I should leave that off. And Maxomi, I think, yeah, it just had the armor class difference. Anyway, yeah, that's how it runs. Now I can go back at any time I like. Just move back through here. And yet there is no fast traveling. Ah, you are being approached by some angry kobolds. I can engage them in combat, I can wait, I can run, or I can let them advance. I will engage them in combat. A battle begins. Now, I can go aim manual here, see what I'm facing. Kobold leaders who probably have short bows, and a lot of basic little baby kobolds who aren't much to worry about at all. So, I shall move, advance 3 spaces, and go into guard mode, so that when they come for me, I can hit them. And this is probably going to be out of range of my slingshot. No, it is not. I will target a leader then. Missed. Drat. Oh well, never mind. I can target another leader with a short bow. Missed. Johto. There we go. Because Johto's so heavily overloaded, because weight is a thing, can't move very far. So has to do done and guard there. Nicely gone. Boris took out someone as they advanced. Naxomi, move up. And you guard there. Ah, not as nice. And Rena, move up. Ah, that one guarded, but missed anyway. And I missed back. Yes, the kobolds do indeed have arrows, which is not good, because it means my thief is in a precarious position. Rena, missed. Boris, down. He is killed. That's the thing on here. Because it's 2nd edition, whenever you attack someone and you take them below their total hit points, they are not dead. They are simply unconscious. But they will lose 1 hit point a turn until they hit -10, in which case they will die. So it comes up saying he is dying, which is true. But
because the monsters can't heal each other. Oh, it's not a bad hit. It really doesn't have much effect on them. It has an effect on your heroes, because if they go down, you can bandage and use that to. He's on 1 hit point. Use that to heal them, keep them alive, so that when you finish the fight, they will be alive, and you can then go and rest up, and they'll be fine. If they go below that and they die, you have to pay for resurrections, which are very expensive. Excellent, excellent. It's your turn again. Go for that one. Ah, not as good. Never mind. Keep up the assault. Kobolds are the least dangerous monster in the dungeons that I am aware of. I don't think you have. Well, at least I can't remember any giant animals. There might be giant wolves. In fact, I think there's. Yeah, I think you can get like big cats and things like that. But in terms of actual proper monsters, yeah, you don't really have to worry much about kobolds, unless you're a thief and you're really bad at hitting things. And you're out of moves, so you can't actually attack. I really need to sort out her inventory. But never mind. Let's go done. Guard. And you can see the rest of them are pretty much just hanging around and not doing much at all. They're just hiding. Because these angry kobolds aren't that effective against me. Ooh, a critical hit. And just still too slow because you've got too much gear. And yet they're just not really doing much up there. Okay. And target. He goes down. Excellent. You're done. You cannot guard, so you must just sit there and do nothing. And move up. Can't really do anything, so you just go to there. You can, but you're not really effective, so you go there and quit. Can't melee defense. Boris, you can move up a little bit. And Rena. Let's see what they do. They have surrendered. Fantastic. Continue the battle? No. I shall simply share out all the loot and say, take all of the gear they have. Exit and carry on my way. Back to town. You are by the gateway to the unsettled areas. City Watch eyes you suspiciously. Proclamations are posted on these walls. In your journal, you note proclamations LXIV, LXXVII, CIX, and LIX. Now, those are in the manual that you get with the game. Normally it'd be a proper manual, but you actually have to have a digital manual. And I believe, because I read them earlier, the proclamations are LXIV is there's weird stuff going on in Valjevo Graveyard. LXXVII is I think go and find a missing expedition in Valjevo Graveyard. CIX I think is go and find books. And LIX is basically clear parts of Flan. And I'm just going to walk all the way through town. And I'm going to go to this shop. This shop specializes in arms and armor. Can I show you our wares? Yes, you can. And you can buy a lot of ours. So, if I go into my character, go view, and items, see the amount of stuff I've actually got on me. So, I've got my bar dish, body shade, flare and shield. But all the rest of this stuff down here isn't really much use because I don't think I can even use that, can I? Ready to fail. No, wrong class. So it can actually use the bar shape. So I'm just going to sell it. 3 gold pieces for it. Yes. Sold. And leather armor, I'll give you 2 gold pieces. Yep. I'll give you 1 gold piece for your short sword. Yep. Sell that. Scale mail, I'll give you 7 gold pieces for your scale mail. Certainly. I shall keep the long bow because I'm probably going to need that on fighters. Short sword. Sell. Sell. And sell. And now my encumbrance is 802. My movement has gone up to 9. It was a little bit lower. Rimkin. There we are. Encumbrance £1,799 worth of equipment. Movement of 3. So, studded leather armor. Cannot use it, unfortunately. So I have to sell 7. Only gets me 7 gold. I think I've spent like 15 on it. Can't use that. I can use the sling and the scimitar. But the rest of this stuff is worthless and heavy. Especially the studded leather armor. So if I sell all of that. There we go. There we are. Encumbrance is 176. Movement is now 12. So I shall buy while I'm here. Go on to here and say leather armor. I shall buy some leather armor. Thank you. Which can help him out. Simriki. View. Items. Glaive Kusam is what I'm currently using for combat. I think it's actually better than the short sword and it's small. But I should keep the shield. So I shall sell the scale mail. And I'll keep the short sword because the short sword I can use with the shield. And here, I don't think I've got anything. Clerical scroll, yeah, you've got a longbow, which technically you can use, which is fine. Can't really use anything else from there. Boris, I don't think picked up anything. Nope. And Maxumi. And yeah, you've got some arrows. Okay, let's sell everything we don't need. Go. Shield and short sword there. Hang on to the short bow. Just because. Better than selling it and then going, oh, I need to buy a bow later. And there we are. So everyone's got a nice collection of coins on them there. You can see 5 platinum, 11 gold, 79 silver, and 85 copper. This was, as I said, 2nd edition. So the way it works, I believe, is it's something like 100 copper is 1 silver, 100 silver is 1 gold, 100 gold is 1 platinum. And it automatically rounds up as best it can. So if I sold some more stuff, then potentially my silver and copper would go down, but my gold would go up. And there you have it. I can't appraise items, but I don't have anything that is looking magical. If I did find something on a monster and I tried to sell it and it said, oh, this is worth about 1,000 gold, then I would know that it is a magical item and I can get it appraised. Now, that can be a little bit tricky in this game because appraising costs probably, I think it's something like 100 gold, but again, it's been way too long for me to remember exactly. And if it's a cursed item, then you've just spent 100 gold and you try and sell it and he'll give you 1 because the minimum anything is worth is 1 gold coin. And as it's a cursed item, he won't really want to be handling it, so he'll offer you the minimum possible to take it off your hands. So sometimes you kind of have to go, well, what's the chances of this being a cursed item? And if you have a cursed item and you put it on, you have to have remove curse cast upon you in order to actually take the item off. It is stuck on your person. So cursed sword, you cannot actually let it go and put something better in its place. But anyway, that is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Pool of Radiance by SSI and TSR. Thank you for watching this quick-ish retrospective of the game which really did define part of my youth. Yeah, it's currently available, I believe, on GOG.com, along with like 15 other games by the same guys from the same period. Yeah, so thanks again, and good night.